What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Smoke and Meteoras. This week, I'm joined by none other than the Big Boofa Dezmond Cole. Welcome in, man. Thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. The more and more I thought about introducing you, the more and more I've realized I've never called you Desmond Cole.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people are usually like, I just call you Boofa or stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, because like that, realistically, that's like kind of what I've known by in this business.
It's always just been Boofa or Boof. All right. So we start every episode the same way here. And I start with the same question. And that question is, what is the dumbest thing that you've done for wrestling?
I've done a lot of dumb stuff. I can't really say it's like the dumbest thing, but it definitely is like probably not the smartest thing, if that makes sense. When I came back in May, the first thing like coming back is just jumping off a cage, like onto the ground, like with a bunch of people, like not inside, outside. That was like one of the first things I did when I came back. But in my head, I wanted to like make a statement. If I'm gonna come back, I wanna go big. You know what I mean?
So obviously that's what you were feeling in the moment. But in the moment, did you
Yeah.
know it was dumb?
Yeah, actually, like when I got up there, you can even see it on the video. I'm like looking down and I almost had like an anxiety attack. I was like, well, like camera's rolling and I gotta jump. So once I was up there, I really there was no turning back. And you could see it on my face. Like I was petrified.
So was that just your way of trying to prove yourself that you were full force, like back on the scene? Or
Oh
was it
yeah,
just
I was
kind of let's go?
uh I was like leading up to that, I was like, all right, like what could I do? Like what's like the biggest thing in my that I could do that is gonna let everybody know, like, hey, like I'm back now. And I think like that was probably my best bet.
Did it teach you any lessons?
No, because I'd probably do it tomorrow. Like, so it's like whatever.
Hey, at least you didn't get hurt again. You're still here. You're still going. That's all that matters.
It's all that matters.
So before the character, before the name, who were who were you when wrestling first? Like when wrestling first grabbed your attention?
Like
Like
when
when
I
you were
first
a
started
kid.
out, or
Like when you
oh,
were a
like who
kid and
grabbed
first
my
got interested. Yeah.
so I used to share like a room with my sister, and she fell asleep, and I was just scrolling through the channels, and I was really young. I was like 5, 6 years old. And next thing you know, I cut on to like John Cena just like screaming at the screen. He was like cutting a promo. And I was like, what is this? And ever since that, like it had me hooked. I wanted to watch it every single week. And in my head, I was like, I don't know if anyone could ever become this. Like they were all superheroes to me on TV. I just thought they spawned there. Like I don't know where they came from. Uh, and when I found out you could become a wrestler, it. That was all I wanted to do.
So what did wrestling mean to you growing up?
It meant the world to me. It was like my vice. It was everything. It was like my escape. Uh, you know, I dealt with like a lot like growing up, and that was literally like the one thing that I could literally just throw all away. Like actually no. The other thing that like what wrapped up my life was dance. Like that was another thing that I just loved. So between those two things, those were my escapes. And when I like it's almost like I was stepping into this world every time I would watch, like, or turn on, Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown or whatever. I was a part of that, like, for that time being. Nobody could tell me anything. There would be points, I think, like, one time, me, my mom, and the family were like at David Buster's, and it was like 7:45, like 7:50, and I'm like, yo, like, we got to get home. I cannot miss. I can't miss Monday Night Raw. I would start having an anxiety attack.
So, when you did start training, did you feel confident at first or out of place?
Um, that's a good question. Honestly, a little bit of both. Only because when I started like training, I also was like testing out dumb stuff. Like I would go to the top and just do see if I can do certain things. I remember like on one of my first days, I did like a 450, like casually on a crash pad, and I was like, "Oh wow, like I can do this." I guess it was crazy. I actually have the video. It's wild, and that it set my confidence. But then, like, the more I would come back and learn more about wrestling, I was like, oh, like, I don't know shit. Like, this is actually like insane, and it's vigorous on your body. Like, you need to love this, like, to do it. Like, you can't just go through the motions, uh because you'll get hurt. You will get hurt.
So, was there like a first moment where you really tested your belief in yourself?
Yeah, honestly, this is how I test my belief in myself every single time I step in the ring. I know it's like probably not the best thing to say, but it's the truth. Like, every time I get in the ring, I always tell myself, like, what could I do to show up for myself? Like, what could I do to show up for these fans? Like, what could I do right now that proves why I deserve to be in this ring right now? Like, that's my immediate reaction every single time the bell rings.
So who are some of the people that saw potential in you early on?
My trainer Kono, definitely, he saw a lot of potential in me. Um, just wanted me to get better, and he saw a lot of good in me. Um, who else really? Joe Ocasio saw a lot of good in me when I started coming around and like training with him. Gabe Sky, of course. Tristan Ty, of course. Akira Kwan. um, I feel really bad because, like, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but that's all that comes to my head right now.
So, was there ever a part early on where you felt that maybe this wasn't it for you?
Um, no. When I dove into wrestling like head on, like when I first started training, it was like I was obsessed. Like, it's all I ever like wanted to do. Like, I would just talk about it nonstop, would not shut up. And like there was no like doubt in my mind that I was gonna be something. I just didn't know how I was gonna get there.
So, throughout everyone's career, there always comes a point where bookings kind of plateau. But how do you keep, like, what keeps pulling you back into the business when your bookings slow down?
Uh just like having faith in that, like, things are gonna work out. Like, you just put in the work, and you just keep going. Uh I've been through that many a times. Like, I'm going through that right now. I kind of it kind of happened like right before COVID too. And then when COVID happened, I told myself, something's got to change. Like, I gotta do something. And when I came back, like, I was a different person, and it was much needed. I was a different person, and I was able to just like get a grasp of that. It's just really like believing in yourself at the end of the day. It's like hard. It's hard sometimes, but you just got to keep telling yourself that this everything is meant to happen for a reason.
So, let's get a little bit more into the reality of being on the independent scene. Um, what does a long indie week feel like emotionally?
It's a complicated mix of feelings. I don't know if other guys will tell you that. Well, probably will, but it's it's like, how do I explain? Especially if you got a family at home, it gets hard sometimes because like I think one weekend it was like a loop for between a Thursday straight through a Saturday, Sunday, and like I miss my fiance, of course. And I miss my family, but it's a complicated feeling, like I said, because you're also doing what you love to do, and you're doing what you can do to provide, and it that's why it gets complicated because you do miss your loved ones, but you're also striving towards your goals to continue, like, to excel. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, what is a drive home after a tough night that you still remember?
Honestly, when I tore my ACL the first time, that was a rough ride because I was in, like, almost in Philly when that happened, and I live like 3.5 hours away. So I remember I just try we me my fiance just, like, we drove home, and the whole time, like, nothing. I've never torn my ACL before. So I'm just sitting there like, what is I don't know what's wrong. And then I was trying to be very, like, I was trying to lie about it to myself. Maybe I just twinged it, whatever. Meanwhile, it felt like literally a grenade blew up in my leg. And the whole ride home, she's like, we gotta take you to the hospital. I was like, no, 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 it's okay. I'll just go to, like, an urgent care the next day. And then I woke up the next day and it felt like my leg was just gone. Like, it was really bad. But that ride home was rough. I was lying to myself the whole time.
I tore my MCL, so I know that exact pain.
I did that. I tore the MCL last year.
So, what has wrestling asked for you to sacrifice outside of the ring?
Um, Definitely, like, pivotal moments. Like, sometimes, I've missed birthdays. I've missed really big events. Um, I've missed, like, really important, milestones in my family, because of wrestling. And it gets to you sometimes, but it's it's what you sign up for.
Have you ever felt judged before people knew who you were?
Um, yeah. uh, I went through, like, a real period, like, when I started this, like, finding this character and who I actually really am. I was so eager for people to just notice me because I felt so slept on at the time, and I was, like, very angry. So during that period, I was very aggressive about, like, who I am and just trying to prove to people, like, why I shouldn't be slept on.
So, would you say that you felt like extra, like that you had to carry like an extra weight because of that pressure?
Um, yeah, I guess you can say so.
Or did you ever feel like you had other like stereotypes or expectations to live up to?
No, I've never felt that way about wrestling. I feel that wrestling is just a business of different shapes and sizes, and I feel personally, to me, it's about your connection with the people and what you bring to the table, and that comes in all different shapes and sizes.
So, what is a small moment that reminds you why all of this hard work is worth it?
Um, Definitely, like, the fans, the way they react when I come out, and, like, it almost feels more than an entrance. It feels like just a party for, like, the time being before the match starts. It just feels like a big party, like, and it's such a good vibe, and it's almost like the people bring me up before we even get going with the action. Uh,
It's the
Probably a
song.
moment. What happened?
It's the song.
Probably it's right. You know, I love that song. If I have to pick a moment where it was almost so emotional, I would have to go back to also again when I returned in May because I was so nervous. Like I hid and I did the best as I could for no one to see me at Limitless, and the reaction, like when the buzzer went, and I was just sitting there waiting for my music to hit. It's almost like people were like anticipating I already was there. And even before that happened, I just felt like you can drop like a needle on the floor. And then when my music hit, like the people went crazy, and I almost like was so taken back. I almost like passed out. Like I couldn't believe the reaction I got, and it was just so great. I'll never forget that, like at all.
And so I want to talk more about like moments that stayed with you, not necessarily your biggest matches, but ones that you still carry in the back of your mind.
That
So
one for sure.
yeah. And so what's a match or a moment that made you feel seen for who you truly are?
Um, there's a there's quite a few. I had a match with Santana last year that like I really felt like I hung with such a dog, and then I got a praise from him, and it felt like so good to me, and I'll never forget that.
Was I
Same
there
goes with
for that?
Leo. ETU.
No. I
I was
know
at
Santana
ETU.
had yeah, I know Santana had been at Beyond a handful of times, but I don't remember who he wrestled.
Yeah. There was that. Definitely Leo Rush. When I wrestled Leo Rush at Beyond, it was eye opening for me. I was extremely nervous because I grew up watching Leo Rush, and literally I just wanted to hang with he's one of the fastest dudes I've ever met in my life. So I just wanted to hang with him, and that moment meant a lot to me as well. Uh, yeah, and the moment I talked about coming back, wrestling at the Coliseum, which I will be doing in 2 days, for Limitless again, winning the trophy there was just the reaction was crazy, and then even fast forwarding winning the title back there was insane, and now I get to relive all that again in 2 days when I go against Dijak and put my title on the line.
So, is there a match that you're proud of that you feel people may overlook?
Um, I want. I don't know. I wouldn't really say overlook, but I really, really, really like encourage people to watch me versus JT Dunn at I think it was VLC 23. It was like a qualifying match for the VLC. Um, and it was fucking awesome. Like it was like it's one of my favorite matches.
So, I actually lost my spot. Was there a moment that hit you more emotionally than physically?
Um, yeah, like I hate to keep going back to it, but the moment from before that I talked about coming back, that was like a vibe throughout my body that I can't even like put into words really. I can only just say I almost just passed out. Um and winning the Limitless title for the first time was like I couldn't believe it. I thought I was dreaming. I immediately started crying. Like once the bell hit. It was a very overwhelming, and it just felt like the whole arena was giving me a big hug.
And especially to be a limitless champion, that title has such a lineage behind it. To be amongst those names is incredible. Um,
Yeah, it feels great.
have you ever walked backstage questioning yourself?
Yeah, a lot. I do it a lot. So, I'll walk back sometimes and be like, oh man, like my body hurts, but as soon as I get out there, it like goes away. It's like as soon as I go through the curtain, it's like back to reality.
Was there a match or a moment tied to something personal in your life?
Hmm. No, I mean, every time you step in the ring, you're trying to prove yourself. So I guess that's personal to all of us, really. We're just trying to be better than our last match, trying to be better than yesterday. That's all really. I feel like that's what it is for a lot of us.
And I had one last question, but I already know what the answer is going to be to it. If you could relive one match just to feel it again, what would it be?
Well, there's a lot of those. I will say, let me think.
I'll say it for you. When you came back in May.
That was a big one. There's a lot of them. I'm gonna be honest with you though. Probably me versus Too Cold Scorpio.
Ooh.
That was like such. I remember I came out and I was chilling in the ring and I was freaking out. Was really nervous. And then he came out and I told myself, you know what? If I don't lock in, I'm gonna black out and I'm not gonna remember any of this. Uh, so I basically bitched myself out and I told myself, get over it because this is probably who knows if this is gonna happen again. And I will never forget how like that match felt like I was watching it in third person. So you know what? That is definitely my definite answer. Definitely me versus Two Cold Scorpio. That was a great, great feeling.
So, looking back, how do you feel that those moments shaped you as a wrestler and just as a person in general?
It reminded me every time. It built character for me. It reminded me that, I gotta just keep going. I gotta keep proving, to everybody why I'm something they've never seen before, why I am different. And it proved that I can hang with some of the best to ever do it and are continuing to do it. That's what it proves.
So, do you feel that it changed how you define success?
Um, like by what exactly? Like,
Just like a successful night for yourself.
yeah,
Just how, like
I
how your
mean,
match went.
the way I look at it now is I define success when I go back in one piece. Like that I've made it through and I formed great connections with people really. That's what a good night of success like successful night is for me.
So, do you still carry any insecurities into the ring with you?
Oh yeah, all the time. But it's all about keep on trucking along. You gotta like I said, you gotta be better than yesterday.
So, how do you know when you truly connect with a crowd?
Soon as I come out. Soon as I come out and the entrance is happening and I'm dancing with everybody, I'll know right then and there what the vibe is going to be for the rest of the time being. Like I know right then.
If they don't vibe with the song, then first of all, they're dumb because that song's a vibe in general. And second of all, they've probably never seen you before. Um, so we already answered that question. So let's kind of reset. So, what is a fan interaction that reminds you why all of this matters?
Recently I was doing a like a weekend loop for Limitless. They were doing a an expo in Bangor for like a con. It was called the Queen City Expo Con. And a fan came up to me and told me that drove they drove like 9 or 10 hours or something like that, maybe a little longer to come see me, and they gave me this right here. I'll show you. They gave me this, and I like. was floored. Like I couldn't even really explain how much that meant to me. So it like really took me away. And I remember just thinking the entire time, like, when you get in your head, like, look what people do. You know what I mean? This is how much you have an impact on them. It's crazy. Like we're so in a bubble sometimes that we forget, and that solidifies it. Like that was one of the sweetest things anyone's ever done for me.
So, what is a night that you remember that went wrong but still taught you something?
Uh, when I tore my ACL for the first time, it went extremely wrong. I was, I was moving, I was vibing. I thought the whole thing was going really well, and then boom, like a rug got pulled from me, and I tried to continue the match, and it just was not working. And what it proved to me is like anything can happen. That was the first time I realized like I am not invincible at all.
So, what is a backstage moment that meant more than a reaction?
Honestly, I when I wrestled Ortiz, I got to sit down with him after we wrestled, and he gave me a lot of great advice and words of encouragement, like from the bottom of his heart, that I keep really dear to me. I don't know if he knows that, but I really do.
So, now looking ahead, what do you believe your moment looks like?
Getting signed. That's I feel like that is the crescendo of what I'm really working for. I think that is like I think that's a big moment for me.
What are you most proud of in your career?
There's a lot of there's a lot of things. If I can I don't want to sound too generic. I think the most thing I really am proud of is the fact that I can have such great connections with people. Like that's realistically I never thought I'd even make it this far. And just being here is like that's I'm proud. I'm proud of that.
And speaking on like connections that you make with people, like even the connection that you and I have, or the connection that you and Zach have, I don't know why I did that because he's not here. But like back when he had gotten into his car accident, like every week we saw you, you were always asking like for an update and like if he got a new car, and like you were the only one that was doing that. And just doing that alone kind of like, I don't want to say brought you back down to our level because I don't really see you guys as any different than us, but it definitely like made me realize how humble some of you guys really are and how many of you make connections with us and genuinely care.
Yeah. I don't like I don't play around when it comes to that stuff. And I as much as I'm a little dumb sometimes with my memory, but I don't forget my interactions with people. Like I just don't. Like I could see you like once and we can have a conversation. And then the next time I see you, like especially all my fans, I know exactly what we talked about. And I'll pick up right from that conversation every single time. Like you can ask anybody who's ever interacted with me. I always remember, like always, your name, everything.
So, for where you are right now in your career, do you still feel like you have something to prove?
Yes. Oh yeah. I definitely yes, 100%.
So, what can we expect from the future Desmond Cole?
Um we can expect me to just go even harder than I've ever went before. And I I truly don't think people are like ready for my next level. Like I'm just ready to take over. I really am.
So, I always like to end my podcast with a little bit of fun personality questions. So,
Oh, fun.
so you are stuck on a car trip cross country to another show. but you can only listen to 5 bands or artists. Who are you listening to?
I'm listening to Michael Jackson off rip. That's my number one. Michael Jackson. I'm gonna throw some Prince on there. Um, I'm listening to Billy Idol. Who else? It's like when this question's asked, like I just forget that I listen to music. Those three. Um, I love a lot of rock music, so I'd probably throw like Corn on there.
Okay.
And for number five, um, hmm, probably like some like old soul like music. So maybe like the Gap Band. That's another one I just love listening to their music.
Korn definitely took me by surprise.
Oh yeah, grew up listening to Korn, Slipknot, Disturbed, ICP.
No
Uh,
way.
yeah, I did all like Mudvayne, Mud Shovel, like all
I'm
these
like,
people.
yeah, like I went and saw Slipknot. I love Slipknot. I just recently kind of got into ICP and went to Juggalo weekends because it was here in Worcester.
Nice.
Yeah, like I'm more
What's your
of
favorite
like
Slipknot song?
oh psychosocial.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. I was gonna say that, but I think Duality probably beats it by a little bit.
I thought that at first, and then I saw somebody come out to Psychosocial as their entrance song, and I was like, nope,
That's sick.
Psychosocial. So you have the opportunity to have a combo meal named after you at any fast food location. Where is this going to be, and what is in your meal?
Taco Bell. It's gonna be Taco Bell, and it's gonna be called the Big Boofa Box. It's gonna be um I mean they just brought it back, but I'll find a fancy way to make a cool looking quesarito. Uh Gotta come with a zero sugar Baja Blast. Um and probably if they can just get their shit together and bring it back, they can bring back they used to have this Doritos taco, and it was a fiery Doritos taco. It was like the best thing in the world. So if they can bring that back, it would have two of those in there too.
The Doritos Locos tacos are so good.
Yep.
So you are booked on a show, but they only have access to Disney or Nickelodeon music. What is your new theme entrance?
Holy shit. um what can I come out to? You, I would probably come out to what is it? Danny Phantom's theme song.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's like it's such a bob. I was about to say Ben 10, but then I forgot Ben 10's Cartoon Network. So Danny Phantom for sure.
I hate that as soon as you said that, the whole theme song played in my head word for word. I'm like, I'm gonna go watch that after I hop off this. If you were to pick your top 3 movies, what would they be?
Role models, sinners, and Pineapple Express.
Oh, hell yeah.
Those are my. I know one is very different from the other two, but they're like my 3 favorites.
And if you were to enter the video game world, you can enter into any video game that you would like, and you can be any type of character you would like. What game would you be in, and what type of character would you be?
What type of character? What character specifically would I want to be?
Like, you can be your own character. So, like, what type of character would you want to be?
Ooh, because realistically, I take a lot of inspiration from Eddie Gordo from Tekken,
Okay.
but I think I would love to be like in a Mortal Kombat game. I think that would be crazy.
Okay. And what would your like aesthetic be for a character? Just
Overalls, straight up, like me.
all
Like
right.
I'd like to bring like what Eddie Gordo brings to Tekken, like the capoeira like energy. I would love to bring that like to Mortal Kombat.
Hell yeah. So I do have one last segment that I like to do, and it is a segment that I like to call promo roulette.
All right.
So, ooh, he left. Or I lost him. Hold on a second. He has Verizon, and Verizon has been losing service all day, so that could be the issue. That's weird. It booted him, so technical difficulties. Give me 1 minute. I'm sorry about this, guys. Okay, devices. Oh, that's me. My bad. Sorry. Um, I don't understand what's going wrong. This hasn't happened before. It like kicked him out of the room. That's weird. I'm gonna give him a minute just to be safe, but considering it was coming shortly after promo roulette, next week I have not only one guest, but I have two. So, with that being said, I have 2 episodes next week. Our first guest of next week is going to be none other than Madman Pondo, and he will be on next week at 4 p.m. And our second guest of next week is going to be Insane Dick Lane, and we will be live with him for 7:30. And that is what we have for next week. By the sounds of it right now. Oh no, hi Zach. Yeah, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the website's not allowing Boofa to come back in. I don't know how to get around that. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this episode up. You just saw the 2 guest announcements for next week. So, we will be back next week with Madman Pondo at 4. And we will also be back with Insane Dick Lane at 7:30. And with that being said, we will see you next week at 4 p.m. Thank you for joining and have a great night.